ROMEX and North Shore Digital. So that you get a snapshot of our partnership, here are a few slides explaining our history working together. And importantly, we start with beer. I told you it was a recurring theme. So who says drinking beer doesn't pay? I met Tom, who you can see here wearing a Manchester United tracksuit top, but don't hold that against him. He is the founder of ROMEX North America, and I met him at the Black Kettle Brewery in North Ann around 2015. It took us a couple of years to find out what we actually did for a living, and after that, a fruitful relationship was born. You might recognize this guy at the back as well. Okay. And so here are the fruits of our labor, the ROMEX website, romexhardscapes.com. So in 2018, I started building the ROMEX Canada West website. And then in 2019, the website moved to romexcanada.com to showcase the national focus of ROMEX. This was followed by the launch of ROMEX US in 2021, and subsequently the launch of ROMEX Hardscapes in 2023, which is what you see right before your eyes. Since then, we brought all three of these websites together to represent ROMEX North America, and it has been a huge success. Our mission is to make data make sense, and you will see this represented on the following slides, which Rich will talk you through.
Sure. Well, no, thanks, Andy. Yeah, and since the initial meeting down in Brunei, there's been a ton of hard work and a lot of great results and success since then. So we're super happy to share some of that today. So first of all, we're going to go over just in the next few slides, just some of our engagement and our reach, a lot of which is being driven by our social media activities, but also driving people back to that website, which is, like Andy said, has been under constant development over a number of years. So on this first slide, website engagement here, this is from the month of April. So a very recent snapshot into our website and the traffic that we've been receiving. So just a couple of things to mention here. Something to bear in mind that ROMEX, we are covering North America, so we have a huge geographical territory, lots of opportunity, from coast to coast in both Canada and the US. So these numbers, they can be, fairly large, but that is just a testament to the territory that we are operating in. So as you can see, form submissions on the left-hand side there, 967 for the month of April. So a form submission for us is when somebody visits our website, they fill out our contact us form. It gathers a bunch of information that we need to provide them with a relevant response in the terms of product information, an estimate, like where to buy your product. So it's an information gathering form that people submit via the website, and so that kickstarts the inquiry process. So one thing I would point out there is that 967 inquiries in the space of a month is awesome, and we're super happy with that. But the reality is, guys, that it wasn't so long ago that we thought 30 to 50 website inquiries in a month was a lot, which at the time for us and our team and stuff, it really was. And that was super important to us. And the way that this thing has evolved and leveled up over a pretty short period of time, being on the online growth plan and really putting this dedicated focus into the social media platforms has allowed us to reach these kinds of levels fairly quickly. So we certainly didn't start up at, these big numbers, but we kind of worked towards that over a period of time. And with our website inquiries at 967, we are directing a lot of that through our e-commerce platforms and throughout our local dealer network across North America. So the other one figured on this page I would, direct your attention to is the Amazon USA link clicks. So for a month there, over 10,000 clicks directly to Amazon, where people are able to, purchase and access our product. So very much going hand in hand between the submissions and then having a clear, direct pathway to accessing the product.
Cool.
Okay, on, Andy. So brand reach, again, we're looking at the month of April here. A couple of things just to kind of focus on. So at the top, left of center, the total users for the month, just shy of 67,000. So 67,000 new users or total users, to the website just in a single month there. And that is kind of supported and backed up by, 47,000 organic clicks. And I think that's really important because we do so much of this work on Instagram and YouTube and these social media platforms, but it is ultimately funneling and directing people back in through the website. So they might have seen one of our, our Instagram ads or seen on YouTube or, came across our material in some form or fashion. And if they're anything like me, they want to do like a deeper dive into some research, it becomes a laptop job. So you put the phone down, you get the laptop out, and then you start to search things up from there. It's a bit old school, but that's how I do it. So 47,000 organic clicks onto our products or keywords in that single month.
Yeah, and I would add for any local service providers, and you're seeing these numbers and being blown away, don't forget that Romex is an international brand. So they cover the US and Canada for all this activity. A typical website might get between 1 and 5,000 visits a month for a local service provider. And that's to be expected when you think of population and where your focus is. But this is just an example of how Romex has exploded in terms of growth.
Yeah, and then last point on that one, Andy, is the engagement there of over 50% engagement. And that, comes back to the great content that Darcy is consistently producing, which, he's going to tell you guys all about, and that's going to be, more interesting part of the presentation.
Cool.
And then as Andy mentioned, so up until fairly recently, we had a ROMEX Canada website, a ROMEX US website, and we sort of made the timely and strategic decision to combine those websites, and instead of them kind of like each competing against each other for SEO and eyes on the internet, if you will, combine those websites and make one dedicated, really strong North American website. And in doing that, we really didn't foresee the kind of uptick that we've experienced in traffic and SEO engagement and the social media stuff as well. Having that joined up, concise approach where everything looks and feels the same across the continent has been huge for us to the end that, as you'll see in the US, in the bottom half of the slide there, sort of like over 300 SEO keywords ranking in the top 3, with just over 1,100 from 4 through 10. So just over 1,400 rankings there across the US. So as the graph shows, there's a huge uptick and a spike there. But what I would say is it's various parts of the machine are at play here, and the Instagram has been a huge driver of that. Certainly like our number one lead generator over a number of years across all the kind of like regions and target markets that we're involved in. But it's really cool to see it kind of like being plugged back into the more full marketing cycle and back in through the website. This is just a snapshot of our segments and countries. And Andy, I'll let you speak a bit more to this one.
So this is obviously it's reflecting the monthly submissions that came through the website, and you can see 4 different pie charts here that represent the type of inquiry that Romex is getting, the countries represented, where they're coming from, the project type, and then what we're focused on for today's webinar is the lead source. And it's important to think of lead generation like you would think of an investment strategy. So you don't want to be over-reliant on one single source in case anything happens to that source. Romex, as you can see, has a very well diversified number of different lead sources. And you can see this here in this chart. And Meta, so in this case, April, Facebook actually beat Instagram, but you can see Meta, so Facebook and Instagram combined, giving over half the inquiries this month. When it comes to the landscapers we work with, typically about 75% come from Google. So you'll see a very different pie chart depending on your industry and where you get your leads from. But the point behind this webinar is to see if we can help clients and prospective clients and anyone out there with diversification and the creation of new lead sources.